This is the Hot 7 Nightly News.
Good evening. It is Friday, April 4th, 2025. I am Daniela Edwin. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We are on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and the Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. Not forgetting those of you using the Hot 7 plug and play antenna. Thank you so much for joining us. Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre has officially taken up the role of chairman of the Regional Security System Council of Ministers. He succeeds Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, and will now lead the regional body.
On April 1st, 2025, Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre formally assumed the position of Chairman of the Regional Security System Council of Ministers. As head, Philip J. Pierre is in charge of securing cooperation and coordination among Eastern Caribbean countries. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre will oversee several key responsibilities, including approving the mobilization of RSS forces in response to security threats, managing financial arrangements within the RSS, hosting the annual Council of Ministers meeting in March 2026, along with any other necessary meetings, and providing approval for the contract of the RSS Executive Director if required. With the Caribbean facing ongoing security challenges, Pierre's leadership comes at a crucial time. Rising gun violence and other security threats require a coordinated regional response, and the Prime Minister's chairmanship underscores Saint Lucia's commitment to strengthening security frameworks and fostering regional collaborations. Prime Minister Pierre is currently traveling to St. Kitts and Nevis to attend the RSS Council of Ministers meeting, where critical discussions on regional security challenges, including gun violence and other emerging threats, will take place. During the Prime Minister's absence, Honorable Sean Edwards will serve as Acting Prime Minister of St. Lucia. For Hot 7 TV News, I am Josiah Bisset.
The government of Saint Lucia is closely monitoring recent trade policy reforms announced by the United States, which will see the introduction of reciprocal tariffs on imported goods, including those from Saint Lucia and other Caribbean Basin Initiative or CBI beneficiary countries. We get the details in this report.
The United States recently announced trade policy adjustments that will impose reciprocal tariffs on imported commodities, including those from St. Lucia and other Caribbean Basin Initiatives beneficiary nations. Although an official announcement has not yet been sent to the government via diplomatic channels, Honorable Emma Hippolyte, Minister of Commerce, acknowledged that these changes were implemented on April 2nd, 2025, which the U.S. President has called a United States Declaration of Economic Independence.
As a government, we have not received any official notification from the U.S. However, you are correct, we have a technical ministerial subcommittee as well as a technical committee working. And today we had one of our routine plan meeting, and the area of the subject of the recent tariff that was placed on last night by President Trump was at the center of our conversation. You would see we met via Zoom, so you'll have evidence that we met. We discussed quite a few items, and again, I do not want to say what they are. We had about 7 points. We came up with some mitigating measures, but we first have to table it to the cabinet on Monday. We've had one report to the cabinet a week ago. We have the second report that is going to go to the cabinet on Monday, God willing, and then we will be making some official statements after the cabinet has accepted our recommendation.
Under the new policy, all goods entering the United States from St. Lucia, which previously enjoyed duty-free status under the CBI, will now be subjected to a 10% tariff. As of now, goods from the EU will attract a 20% tariff, Japan 24%, and 54% on goods from China. This change is expected to impact local exporters and businesses that rely on the American market. Hippolyte reaffirmed that government's commitment to protecting Saint Lucia's economic interests and ensuring that the private sector is supported in adapting to these changes. She stated that further assessments and stakeholder consultations will be conducted in the coming weeks to determine the best course of action as it pertains to potential change in the cost of goods.
We have a government that is as concerned as they are, and we have a government that is working to look at alternative measures as to how we can mitigate the impact. So please, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous, because you're just getting yourself sick when you're nervous or anxious. Just keep calm. Start considering certain things that you can do on your own in terms of changing of behavior, changing of your consumption patterns, things like that. But we will be coming to you shortly after the cabinet has accepted our recommendations so we can share with you the broader issues. I also want to tell the general public that as a government, there are certain things we can do as a government here, but there are a lot of things we have to do as a Caribbean region together. We are working on both fronts. We are working locally, we are working regionally.
The government is expected to engage in diplomatic discussions with U.S. officials while exploring alternative trade strategies that safeguard the competitiveness of St. Lucian businesses in the evolving global trade environment. For Hot 7 TV News, I am Josiah Bise.
Due attention is being given to pressing concerns surrounding Wasco's operations. Residents have raised critical questions about infrastructure, water quality, and customer service, prompting officials to address these issues by providing answers on the latest episode of the government's Issues and Answers program.
The challenges faced by the water and sewage company, Wasco, have become a growing concern for many residents, from water supply disruptions to maintenance delays. In response, Wasco representatives have provided answers explaining the hurdles they face and the steps being taken to improve service delivery. According to Wasco CEO Zilta George Leslie, one of the main concerns is the aging infrastructure, which has led to frequent leaks and supply interruptions. Residents, however, say that these interruptions have made daily life difficult, with some experiencing long periods without access to clean water.
Our infrastructure is aged, and I think we should start there. And I think when the public begins to realize or to understand the age of the infrastructure and the challenges that we face, it may be a lot easier for them, to be a little more patient. Because I know right now persons are a little impatient, but it's because they don't have a supply. And like we say, water is life. So we understand exactly how people feel. And I think it's important for them to know that, we do understand how they feel.
George acknowledges that much of the water disruption concerns stem from the country's northern communities, except Babono, which receives its supply from the Hill 20 water system. Another major concern raised was water quality. Some residents claim the water supply has been inconsistent in clarity and taste. Wasco has responded by reassuring the public that regular testing is conducted to meet safety standards.
In the north of the island, we face significant challenges because our main source of water is the John Compton Dam, and that John Compton Dam serves about 60% of our populace. So what we have happening is that we have a raw water pipeline which is severely compromised. Because of that, and because we have understood that the severity of the situation is such that it prevents persons from operating and from having their normal activities as they would like, we then have decided that we are going to replace 5 kilometers of that pipeline. But what we can't do is just get up and do the replacement. So in the interim, what we're doing is that we have to be doing a lot of maintenance works on that pipeline. And every time we have to maintain the pipeline, as people would probably appreciate, we need to shut down the entire system to the north.
Beyond infrastructure and water quality, customer service has also been a focal point of discussions. Many customers have reported delays in getting responses to complaints and service requests. Ali Anthony, Wasco's Chief Operations Officer, suggests that responses are being provided as best as possible, while Wasco simultaneously acts upon the complaints received to provide viable solutions.
There are quite a bit of strategies that we have utilized over the years. One, okay, of course, fiscal prudence is one. We've also been utilizing a lot more advanced type materials and equipment in our infrastructure. For example, we are aware that we now have a lot more higher elevated residents. And in order to supply those residents, we have to increase the pressures in the pipelines. Now, coupled with higher than normal pressures in the pipelines, we also have heavier trucks. You could see those heavy trucks carrying quarried material. So all these create a lot of loading onto the pipes. Now the pipes, most of them are just 3 feet below road surface. So you have a lot of that dynamic loading being applied to the pipes every time those trucks traverse those roads. So, and don't forget, we have a lot of plastic pipes as well. Plastic because this is what we could afford. So what we have been doing strategically is to replace those plastic pipes in areas where we have a much higher frequency of breaks with ductile iron pipe. These provide a lot more resistance, and these are a lot more resilient than PVC, but they're also like 5 times more expensive. So that's a cost that we cannot just go and replace extensive sections. It's just a bit at a time as we can afford.
While Wasco is taking steps to address concerns, residents are still feeling the impact of disruptions, inconsistencies, and uncertainties. Communities across Saint Lucia remain hopeful that strategies cited by Wasco representatives will lead to visible and tangible solutions in the near future. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Stevana Francis.
Still in the first segment of the broadcast, the POV. Today you spoke to an open mic. Here is what you had to say.
I wish the people of this nation could be a little more constructive and a little less destructive. There's too much destruction already. So please, the people of this nation, Saint Lucia, try to be a little more constructive and creative instead of destructive. Have a wonderful day. May God bless you all.
At that time, a whole world in problem. And don't think those things happen in America cannot affect us. Because we have nothing. There's one thing that remains is banana. Only what remains there is sea and sand. Okay? So we have to be careful and make sure we make our bed right. And the people that haven't got a piece of land yet, not the hot, try to see if you get a home, because it's more expensive to live in America than here. A house in America is $2,000, $1,005, $1,009. People, I try to tell you all, and the people descending back home, it's best you all go back home, because when that war starts, you all will not fight against us, but will fight against them. You get the right time to come home. Try to come home.
Wasco, behave yourself, because you'll take the water as you canal almost a whole month. And when you'll finish, you'll still taking the water in between. The most important time is on a Monday when children have to go to school. You're still taking the water, and people doesn't have water to send their children to school. And when they finish, when the month fed, they come in for like a bill, tell them behave themselves.
You know, something I find strange. 2 young people were found with firearms, and high-powered firearms and rounds of bullets. How did they get it? Where did they get it from? Did the police question them as to who gave it to them? Because you could tell me a 15-year-old, right? And a 21-year-old have firearms at the disposal. How can that be? Something not right. So we have to investigate where they get the firearms from, who gave it to them, and then try and get it back to them, so they can get them a big jail. Because you can tell me you have 2 young girls, they have firearms, they have no business, they don't have no farm. Just so? Something wrong?
Yeah, as far as I can see, everybody happy. The way the Prime Minister running the country, everybody getting something, the preschool children getting a little thing, the elderly getting something, the pensioner getting something. That Prime Minister spending the country money on the people of the country. And that's what I like about the Prime Minister. And I pray to God that Prime Minister will live a long life.
Yeah, what I have to say is my Prime Minister is working. Wayne is working. I do not care what the Flabo people wants to say about Wayne, but I know Wayne gave $100,000 to erect the sewer, because the money for the sewer, Fede cannot tell us where is that money. I need Fede to come out, and I want Shasne to answer me, sister, that question. Why wasn't he down at Ansari on Sunday to represent Fede when he is at all town hall meeting? I want to know why didn't he came to that town hall meeting in Ansari? Why he stayed away? His second deputy leader. Why he stayed away from his second deputy leader and he did not come?
Want to share your point of view with us on trending topics in the news? We would love to hear from you. Look out for our reporters or head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages at Caribbean Hot 7 TV. Coming up next, Miku North MP reports on the past year's Early Childhood Center reconstruction. And Lakwa bus drivers benefit from free health screening. The details to these stories and much more when we come back.